Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you all to hear and see this video message. In this video, I am going to explain why should beef eating make broken men untouchables in India. Content for this video I given in the description. You can go through and study. Stoppage of beef eating by the Brahmins and the non-Brahmins and the continued use thereof by the broken men had produced a situation which was different from the old. This difference lay in the face that while in the old situation everybody ate beef, in the new situation one section did not and another did. The difference was a glaring difference. Everybody could see it. It divided society as nothing else did before. All the same, this difference need not have given rise to such extreme division of society as is marked by untouchability. It would have remained a social difference. There are many cases where different sections of the community differ in their foods. What one likes the other dislikes, and yet this difference does not create a bar between the two. There must therefore be some special reason why in India the difference between the settled community and the broken men in the matter of beef eating created a bar between the two. What can that be? The answer is that if beef eating had remained a secular affair, a mere matter of individual taste, such as a bar between those who eat beef and those who would not have arisen. Unfortunately, beef eating, instead of being treated as purely secular matter, was made a matter of religion. This happened because the Brahmins made the cow a sacred animal. This made beef eating a sacrilege. The broken man, being guilty of sacrilege, necessarily become beyond the pale of society. Religious interdicts take multiple forms. Most important of this is the interdiction of conduct. The interdiction on conduct rests upon the principle that the profane should never touch the sacred. Conduct may be established in variety of ways other than touch. A look is means of conduct. That is why the sight of sacred things is forbidden to the profane in certain cases. For instance, women are not allowed to see certain things which are regarded as sacred. The word, that is the breath which forms part of man and which spread outside him, is another means of conduct. That is why the profane is forbidden to address the sacred things or to utter them. For instance, the Veda must be uttered only by the Brahmin and not by the Sutra. An exceptionally intimate conduct is the one resulting from the absorption of food. Hence comes the interdiction against eating the sacred animals or vegetables. Untouchability is the result of the breach of the interdiction against the eating of the sacred animal, namely the cow. The Brahmins made the cow a sacred animal. They did not stop to make the difference between a living cow and dead cow. The cow was sacred, living or dead. Beef eating was not merely a crime. It was only a crime. It would have involved nothing more than punishment. Beef eating was made a sacrilege. Anyone who treated the cow as profane was guilty of sin and unfit for association. The broken men who continued to eat beef become guilty of sacrilege. Once the cow becomes sacred and the broken men continued to eat beef, there was no other fat left for the broken man except to be treated unfit for association, that is untouchables. If the law made the killing of the cow a capital sin because the cow became a sacred animal to the Brahmins and non-Brahmins, why were the broken men not stopped from eating beef? If they had been stopped from eating beef, there would have been no untouchability. Even during the period when beef eating was common to both the settled tribesman and the broken man, and a system had grown up whereby the settled community ate fresh beef while the broken man ate the flesh of the dead cow. We have no positive evidence to show that members of the settled community never ate the flesh of the dead cow. But we have negative evidence which shows that the dead cow had become an exclusive possession and prerequisite of the broken man. The evidence consists of fact which relates to the Magars of the Maharashtra, to whom reference has been made. As has already been pointed out, the Magars of the Maharashtra claim the right to take the dead animals. This right they claim against every Hindu in the village. This means that no Hindu can eat the flesh of his own animal when it dies. He has to surrender it to the Magar. This is merely another way of stating that when eating beef as a common practice, the Magars ate dead beef and the Hindus ate fresh beef. Can this fact, which is true of the Maharashtra, be taken as typical of the arrangement between the settled tribes and the broken men throughout India? The practice of the broken men eating dead meat and settled tribe eating fresh meat must be grown in the ancient past. Thus, that such an arrangement should grow up is certainly most natural. The settled community was a wealthy community with agriculture and cattle as means of livelihood. The broken men were a community of workers with no means of livelihood and entirely dependent upon the settled community. The principal item of food for both was beef. It was possible for both the settled community to kill an animal for food because it was possessed of cattle. The broken men could not, for they had none. Would it be unnatural in these circumstances for the settled community to have agreed to give to the broken men its dead animals as part of their wages of watch and ward? Surely not. It can therefore be taken for granted that in the ancient past, when both the settled community and broken men did eat beef, the former ate fresh beef and the latter of the dead cow, and that is the system represented a universal state of affairs throughout India and was not confined to the Maharashtra alone. The law made by the Gupta emperors was intended to prevent those who killed cows. Did not apply to broken men, for they did not kill the cow, they only ate the dead cow. Their conduct did not contravene the law against cow killing. The practice of eating the flesh of the dead cow therefore was allowed to continue, nor did their conduct contravene the doctrine of ahimsa, assuming that it has anything to do with the abandonment of beef eating by the Brahmins and the non-Brahmins. Killing the cow was ahimsa, but eating the dead cow was not. The broken man had therefore no cause for feeling qualms of conscience in continuing to eat the dead cow. Neither the law nor the doctrine of ahimsa could interdict what they were doing, for what they were doing was neither contrary to law nor to their doctrine. As to why they did not imitate the Brahmins and the non-Brahmins, the answer is twofold. In the first place, imitation was too costly. They could not afford it. The flesh of the dead cow was their principal sustenance. Without it they would starve. In the second place, carrying the dead cow had become an obligation, though originally it was privilege. As they could not escape carrying the dead cow, they did not mind using the flesh as food in the manner in which they were doing previously.